There we go. Perfect. Yes. I think we're working now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yay. All right. So I think we've got it now. I was totally in the wrong account. Totally my fault. All right. So Rain, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Are you going to start with a little song that you prepared? You're going to sing? No? So in this video, I just want to introduce Rain, and Rain knows, and we were just on a previous call, and I told her I'm just fired up to interview her. I'm fired up that she's allowing me to interview her. She knows I love her. I adore her. I think she's the best VA that's ever existed. Is that about accurate? Aren't you the greatest?
I'm trying to be.
So Rain, I think I might have explained this to you a little bit, why I want to interview. Okay. And what it is in our world, you know, I'm over here in the United States and we're in the real estate business, and a lot of people work with VAs. And a lot of times I'll get calls about working with VAs, and I get the same questions every single time. You know, where do you hire them? How do you hire them? What do you pay them? What tasks do they? I mean, it's all the same questions every single time. Okay. And those are all great, and they're worth talking about, and they're worth training on and everything else like that. But every interview I see, nobody actually interviews on video the actual VA. Nobody knows how they feel and what they think. Is this job awesome? What is it like actually working, you know, as a VA? You're working different hours, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted your perspective, and you agreed to it. And I love it. And I obviously love you because you also always used to call me your little Yoda. So, anyways, so Rain, how long, now obviously we're no longer working together, but how long did we work together, roughly?
For more than a year.
I think it was over 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've been in 40 moves for 2 years and 4 months, I think.
Yeah.
For almost 2.5 months.
Yeah, so it was almost 2.5 years. And was it tough working with me for 2.5 years?
I don't think so. It's the other way around. No, I'm just kidding. I could say this over and over again. And for the end, I love working with you because it's really light.
Yeah.
I told you when you interviewed me that I had zero knowledge when it comes to real estate. I didn't know if I'm gonna make it. So the moment that I passed the interview from you, that yay, I got the interview. I passed the interview. But then it's not the end. It's a make or break for me the first 2-3 weeks or the first month of doing training with you. So with your help, with your guidance and your support, it's truly I am very thankful for what you did, because for me the secret ingredients of being a good VA or being a successful VA is working with a good boss or with a great client. Why? Because of course, even if I know, let's say, I have an experience with real estate, but I don't know how to deal with my day-to-day task, and my boss not doing anything for me. All right, my boss just giving me this and that without explaining everything. So how can I also do my job effectively, or the task that I'm supposed to do? So again, working with you, it's very alive. I learned the real estate, the transaction stuff in less than 1 month. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I couldn't complain because I couldn't complain at all until now, because I'm really happy with what you've taught me, with what I've learned from you, with all the things that you're telling me, this and that. And you keep on telling me that, Ring, you have to do this and that. You're checking every little things, every detail of what I do. So I'm really happy for it.
So let me just, you're so awesome. I just adore
Yeah.
you. You know it. You know I adore you. So, and my wife knows I adore you, and you adore my wife, and you fell in love with my dog and everything else like that. So we've gotten to know each other quite well. Is for those that don't know you though, but they know this business and they know what being a transaction coordinator is. I think a lot of people, I get this asked all the time. Well, what tasks would you have a VA do? And for me, I look at it from this point of view. I don't know, what would I have someone do if I hired them down the street? I mean, there is no difference to me. I don't see the difference, and I've never treated you as any different than someone that I would have hired down the street, and you're working at a desk right next to me, okay? So let's just answer that question for everybody in the transaction world. So what did Rain actually do? And basically, and I want you to correct me if you think that what I'm about to say is wrong, okay? My theory on hiring you and what to train you on and what you actually did as a transaction coordinator, I wanted you to be able to do everything that I could do other than two things, okay? So there's only two things, in my opinion, as a full transaction coordinator, I really didn't hardcore want to teach you how to do. And that was, I felt that anything that dealt with the agent's commission, which at Keller Williams we called green sheets.
Yes.
I always did the green sheets, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's just, and I figured that if there's a problem on the commissions, that should not come back on you, because that's a major problem for the agent. So I own that. Okay. So I didn't show you green sheets. The second thing is this had nothing to do with you being a VA or not a VA. I also said I will make all the hard calls. And that doesn't come down to the fact that you were a VA and I wasn't. That was due to the fact that I have over 20 years in the business. And if there is something that's going to be a deal breaker on a file, even if I've asked you to look over all my files for the day, I'm going to be gone or I'm going to be in meetings all day, you knew, we taught you basically how to look at a file and go, that's not a decision I should be making. And I need to save that for David. But other than that, pretty much you were taught to do everything that I would do, right? From a VA perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, a TC perspective, okay?
Yeah, virtual assistant
Yeah.
/ transaction coordinator, assistant transaction coordinator.
Okay, so I want to take that to the next level, and you tell me, after we really learned that, and I would say, we spent a couple months and we really dialed that in. And in a little bit, I'll share when I realized you were real talent. I'm totally telling that story. But okay, the fact is after we realized you were real talent and you really dialed in the transaction coordinator role, you were asked and given a lot of leeway to do other things as well. What other things have you had an opportunity to do? Just because we didn't see you just as a VA, we didn't see you just as a TC, we saw you as real talent. So what other things did you get to do while we were working together?
Well, I mean, aside from doing the transaction side, let's say the contracts and everything, the purchase agreement, I mean, I could say that the 14 Moves team, especially you, was giving me a different task or a different project aside from transaction. And good thing about it, when I asked you, hey David, could I learn the listing side? I mean, you even welcome me. Then why not? So
yeah, why not?
Yeah, you taught me to do some listing stuff and everything.
What about hiring?
Huh?
What about hiring? I'll just say right now, you were a huge asset to me on the hiring process.
Aside from that, the hiring process, remember that you were supposed to get some VAs all over the world. I could say that I was part of it.
Yeah, you were.
I was doing some initial interviews. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I was included to that hiring procedure, because I know what's on the background as well, because I'm a VA, I'm a virtual assistant, so I know how it works, especially if you're gonna hire someone from the Philippines. Like the importance of internet to the client,
Yep.
that you have to be effective, that the importance of, can you really work at night? I mean, we really have an opposite time zone.
Yeah.
It's morning right now here and it's evening in the US, in Minnesota. So it's very important. Some people may think that's not a big deal. It's actually a big deal because you'll never know. I mean, I know that you're working virtually and working remotely. That I want to make sure that my client will trust me because if I'm gonna sleep within my shift and I'm gonna lie to my client that hey, you know what, I'm done with this, but in truthfully, I didn't do anything about. I didn't do my task. So those are the things that those are the things that are important. So I think that's the reason why I was included to the hiring procedure for the hiring process. That you need to make sure that the internet is stable. Can you really work at night? Can you really deal with U.S. time zone? Can you really do a simple task without your client micromanaging the VA?
Yep.
I mean, can that VA can be independent?
Yep.
Is that is that VA can function without his or her boss just for a day or two? I mean, what if there is some urgent decision that he has to do or she has to do? What are the things that you need to do? And you have to think faster because no one will wait for you.
Can I give you I'm going to give you a couple perspectives on my end too. Okay. Is some of them are, there's two sides to this to me. Okay. I wanted to hear your side totally. Is so the reason why I absolutely wanted to give you an opportunity, because we didn't know if it would work when we first started. If, you know, I'm going to have her help me in the hiring process and everything else like that, is the reason why I wanted to give you an opportunity is number one, I started seeing that you were real talent. Okay. And I started really honestly believing with all of my heart that you weren't just doing a job, but you were really starting to learn what we were looking for and what I was looking for and what I expected. And you weren't just understanding what I was expecting. You were actually behind it 100%. You were on the same page as me on everything. So you knew what I'd be looking for. You knew what would be interesting to me. You knew what would be attractive to me. So if we ran an ad and we got 50 to 100 resumes, and you know that as well as I do, and the team's got me working on other projects, why aren't you just as qualified to look through those 100 resumes as I am? I trusted you to, and remember what we did. I said, you know, the very first time that we started this, I said, I'm going to create 2 email folders. Yeah. One of them is for all the resumes. And if we get 100, there'll be 100 resumes in there. That's fine. Yes. Now I'm learning a bit about you and how you analyze things and how you are seeing what we're looking for. I wanted to see your perspective on what you think we were looking for and what we're attracted to and why we're excited about you. I want you to look through all 100 resumes. And what did I tell you? Put the top 10 in this other folder. I'm kind of close to that. To see you sift through 100 people and then narrow that down to top 10. And then I took you through the recruiting process and I said, okay, now that we've got those, here's what I want you to do next step and how I want you to reach out with them. And so you started learning that process. Okay. And what ends up happening is we grow as a team because we're looking for leverage. Okay. And we hire VAs because we're looking for leverage and another team member. And you at every step of the way proved yourself as real talent. And so we kept increasing what you could do in a transaction to the point that you could pretty much do anything I could do. Now, if you can do anything that I can do, and I'm not that impressive, but you could still, you know, they're paying me to do it, but you can do what I can do. Why can't you do what I can do on the hiring process? And we started to teach you the hiring process, didn't we? And you became a major part of it. And then I would ask you, because you have a perspective on the VAs that I don't, and you could read things that I might not be able to. I asked you to start interviewing a few of them, didn't I? Yes. Yeah. So let me ask you. So now this is why I'm bringing this all up, okay? And I'll tell that story about when I really, in my opinion, saw you as real talent, which was about 6 weeks in. What we just talked about was you got to do all these different things and kept growing in your role based on the fact that my trust in you just kept growing and growing and growing. And that trust grew because you earned it. Now I'm going to turn the tables. How long did it take for you as a VA to trust us?
Well, I could say immediately. You know why? Here's
Why?
the thing. Here's my.
That's not what I thought. That's not what I thought you would say. You talked to me about that because I'm going to challenge that.
Once I work, let's say, whether I'm working as a virtual assistant or I'm working physically in the office,
yeah,
it doesn't matter for me. Why? Because the moment the company, the company or my boss will hire me, meaning to say that this person is trusting me, maybe not 100%, but this person trusted me to be part of their company or part of their team.
Okay.
So who am I not to trust that person? That's the reason why I applied. Because I always look for reputation. The moment that you send me the calendar invites for interview, I already look at it. I already look at your website. What is Keller Williams? How big are they?
You knew a lot about us when I interviewed you.
Because for me, it's very important. You have to do research because if you have to be fully equipped. You can't be empty-handed when you go to an interview. Like you don't know what to answer. You have no idea. Especially that you told me what you're doing, that you're real estate, so on and so forth. So again, I mean, yeah, I trusted you immediately. The company, the 40 moves, I already trusted because the moment that you hired me,
yeah,
I mean, I'm there. The only thing that I need to do is to do better. That I have to prove myself that I'm worth it. I'm worthy of this.
yeah.
That David did not make a mistake of hiring me. So for me, every day I could say that's my drive. One of my drives when I always log in.
Yeah.
That hey, I have to do better. I have to make sure that I learn something every day. I can't be complacent just because I'm working from home or just because David and the 40 Moves team is just seeing me on the computer. It doesn't work like that.
Nope.
It's always about you. For me, trust and communication both ways.
Yeah.
So and you never fail to communicate with me. You never fail to tell me that what I'm doing, a simple pat on the back, that's very important. Because I always believe it's not always about the money. Even though you're earning a lot of money, but if your boss or the company is just neglecting you or doesn't really is not you don't really feel that you're important, that you're part of this team, then for me at the end of the day, you're still gonna look for it. I always believe that a simple pat on the back, it's something that it's one of the achievements that at least for me that I can have every day. That once I sign out, oh good, thank God, I was able to do my job today. I was able to do great. My boss is happy with me, so I'm okay with that. Meaning, I can still keep my job. So for me, there.
Okay, so oh my gosh, there's so many good things you just said there. But I don't care if it's VA or not VA. There are so many things that you just said there that are important to everybody. I mean, honestly, everybody should come to those interviews. If you really want the job and you really, really, really want to put your best foot forward, you did all your research coming into it. You knew a lot more than almost anybody else that I had interviewed.
Yes.
That's huge credit to you. Next thing is you said that you wanted to plug in every single day, basically, check in, whatever you want to call it, is log in. And you wanted to be better every day. And you wanted to get better every day. And you asked stuff like that all the time. You were always asking questions. The other thing that you said is you basically got to feel as though you weren't just a VA, you were actually part of the team that was hiring you. And that you were getting pats on the back and stuff like that. And I'm asking now because I don't know the answer to this, I used to know the answer to this, but I don't remember. Had you been a VA or at least once or twice at other companies prior to when I had interviewed you and hired you? And is it common that people in the VA world would feel more like they're just punching in, doing tasks, and they don't feel like they're part of the team? Or was it pretty common for you that you did feel like you were part of the team like you did when we worked together?
I can say that every the moment that I started working as a VA, all my bosses, I was really lucky with my previous bosses, but I could honestly say that yeah, I'm just there to be their VA.
Okay.
And if I'm just like this, I'm gonna log in. They're gonna hand me a task, and that's it. We don't talk anything.
So
They're gonna if I finish my job on time, or if I know that I did it correctly, they're just gonna tell me, "Oh, great, you're done. Thank you." That's it.
So are you just saying they were good bosses, they were nice people, but you still felt like you were separate?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with someone being a good person and everything else like that. And I mean, it's tough if you don't work for someone that you enjoy.
Actually, it's normal. It's normal in a virtual assistant world. It's in the VA world. It's
that you
normal.
feel separate.
Yeah. I mean, I think 2 out of 10 is just you can encounter a boss that you will really feel that your boss is there. Like, this person is not just thinking of you like someone like you're working from another part of the world. Yeah. So 2 out of 10, I think. So yeah, but I'm okay with that. I think because they hired me. I'm there to work. So if my boss is being awesome and being supportive and everything and giving me a pat on the back and really make me feel that I'm part of this team, then it's a huge bonus for me.
Yeah. And I think part of what you're saying too is you just did when you joined the team, we really took you in as though you were family, as if you were an absolute part of the team that's walking into our building every single day. And I'll be honest with you, it was easier for me to work with you in the Philippines than it was Randy. No matter how much I love him, he's on the other side of the wall from me. If I want to go talk to him, I got to get up out of my chair. I got to walk 10 feet that way, 10 feet that way, and 10 feet this way. And I could just click a button and you and I are just talking. It's almost as if you were there all the time for me.
You know why, David? Because I think what really drives me is I have to keep my job. That's very important. That my boss will be happy with what I do at the end of the day. Yeah. So that's one of my motivations in life. That actually not only in professional or at work, but everything that you do in life, personal or professional, you have to make sure that you do your best. Not only, I told you this, don't give 100%. If you can give 101 to 110%, why not? Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who will benefit from it. And my boss will be happy. Everyone will be happy. Yep. See? No complaints at all.
So let's get into when did in my opinion, I saw you as real talent. Okay. I mean, I didn't think that you were talented and I didn't think you were the right person. When I interviewed you, I wouldn't have said, this is the person I need to hire. I mean, obviously I felt good about you in the interview process enough to hire you.
And I know that. That's why I love challenges. That's why I took it as a challenge for me that this person at the end of the day will like.
So what happened is, we had a miscommunication about 6 weeks in, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but the miscommunication was this. You asked me something, and I misunderstood what you were asking me, and it broke my heart.
What was that?
It broke my heart. So you know me well enough. When we work together, I'm going to give you everything I got. I'm going to pour into you. I'm going to train you the best I can. I'm going to love on you the best I can. I am going to give everything I've got to help you.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then 6 weeks in, you asked me one question and I misunderstood you. You said, David, do you mind if I start writing down everything that you say? And you know why that broke my heart?
Why?
Because I had been pouring into you for 6 weeks. I'd been giving you everything I've got. And in my head, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to start taking notes now?
You just told me that after 2 years?
What is wrong with you? What have you been doing for 6 weeks? Oh my gosh, it just killed me. I'm like, I'm going to have to start over. I've got the wrong person. I've got the wrong person. I went home so disappointed. I was heartbroken. Now, do you remember what happened after that? Do you remember what you meant by that? I do, because I'll never forget this. This is when I discovered you were real talent.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I mean, I remember, I can't remember that exact scenario, but I know the reason why I always take notes.
Okay, so here's the deal. You were not asking me if you could take notes. What you were doing, but you use different terminology, you were basically asking if you could write an operations manual. And what you gave me less than 10 days after that was about 34 pages. Am I true? Is this right?
I think.
It was about 34 or 37.
30,
it was 30 something. Yeah. It was over 30 pages of an operations manual of every single thing I do, everything I say in the TC process. You had screenshots of everything I did. You had bubbles, you had arrows, it was crazy. It was crazy. You wrote a whole operations manual in basically a week and a half with every screenshot you can think of. And as soon as I got that, I went right over to Mike, our ops manager, and I said, I need more money. I need more money. I got to give her a raise because I'm telling you, we can't lose her. If we lose her, I'm going to lose my ever-living mind.
See, that's how I took it seriously. Because
you did.
Because everyone will benefit. I know that you're busy because remember I told you I'm your assistant, right? So if I can make my boss lives easier, why not? I'll do that for him or for her because it will make everyone's happy. I mean, it's gonna be I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna be productive with my task. I can do a lot of things. I can learn a lot of things. My boss can focus on commissions and taking calls calling the clients and the vendors. I mean, the 40 moves, they can give like a manual to everyone that, hey, these are the process that we have. So everyone will benefit. I always think of it, I don't think about myself. I always think about us, the team.
Yes. And you live that. Every day you came to work, and I swear you don't come to work selfish. I mean, everything that you did, it was about us. It was the team. You were an integral part of the team. And I want anybody who is watching this video, as you hear everything Rain is saying, there are so many great things that she has said, not even just as a VA, for anybody you are looking to hire. That's real talent right there. That's what real talent looks like. That's the attitude, that's the spirit, that's the heart. And she actually, I'm telling you, you broke my heart when you said, can I start writing things down? I totally misunderstood. I thought, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I wasn't even paying attention I wasn't paying attention that you weren't paying attention the first 6 weeks. I was so mad. And then you come back with a 34-page operations manual.
So I was able to mend your broken heart when I showed you that manual, and you didn't tell me that. Oh my goodness!
I was just so over the moon. I'm like, this is my girl. Oh my gosh, I love this woman. So, anyways, that's what real talent looks like, you guys. And I love that, Rain, you let me interview you. And I've got probably 20 more questions to ask you, but we won't make this go on all night. But I wanted you to be able to just kind of speak out loud, because a lot of people watch this video. And here's the thing is, I want them to see what I see as real talent in the VA world. And real talent in the VA world really doesn't, to me anyways, real talent in the VA world doesn't look much different than real talent looks like down the street. It's either a quality person, a driven person, a talented person, an honest person. I don't care if you're in the Philippines or if you're in Stillwater, Minnesota, where I live. I can care less. That is what real talent looks like. And when we are hiring VAs, we should still be looking for just as much real talent as we are down the street, number one. Number two, if you're going to love on the people in your office and you're going to love on the people at work, you should be loving on your VA, because I see her as family. I see her as part of my work. And when you found out that I was going to be moving on.
Oh my God. I was really a character.
Yeah. I think there was a crying session for about 15 minutes. Okay. Because working with the VA is still about real relationships. And to me, that's a game changer. If you are just hiring a VA to do tasks for you, I don't want to work for you. I want nothing to do with you. If you're going to work with a VA, I want you to think of them two things. I want you to think of them as anybody else that you would hire into your office. And number two, now we haven't talked about this on this call, but I'm going to bring it up right now because it's important to me. And I say it all the time, is if you're going to hire a VA, I'm not hiring a VA to do tasks. I want to know, what does Rain want to do for her career? I want to talk about Rain's career. I want to talk about Rain as far as how do we grow Rain? If Rain is real talent, because we don't hire anybody who's not real talent, okay? If she's real talent, then she's not just here to do tasks and that's what she's going to be happy doing for the next 20 years. It doesn't work that way. She'll get bored. She'll feel unrespected. I want to know, hey, Rain, I think you're real talent in the transaction and I think you get the direction I'm going. How would you like to start doing the hiring process? Okay. Then Rain, we hired a few other VAs. How would you feel like managing and communicating with them rather than us having to communicate with them? How would you like to manage your own VA department? Hey, Rain, what about getting into listings? We've just been doing transactions. Would you have any interest in doing that? Hey, Rain, if you're not constantly looking for new opportunities for everybody on your team, I don't want to work for you. And that includes VAs. If your VA is real talent, you should be looking for opportunity for them and you should be looking for other things that they can do to grow themselves and to grow your business. And would you agree that that's, as much as we possibly could, that's kind of the way that we work together, hasn't it?
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
Very much so. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on or talk about kind of before we go?
Well, excuse me. There's one thing that I learned working with you, working with 14 Moves, and being a virtual assistant for 5 years.
Okay.
I've been a virtual assistant for 5 years. So I always believe that no one can do anything alone. And I think when the boss and employee or virtual assistant collaborate together, it can learn from one another. Everyone everyone comes out on top. I mean, everyone can be. It's gonna be a win-win situation. Everyone can benefit from it. Everyone will be happier with the outcome.
Yep.
So I think those for me, that's one of the things that's one of the important lessons that I learned being a virtual assistant and working with my clients or working with my bosses.
Yeah.
Outside of the Philippines, even if it's only remotely, you have to do your best. Nothing is impossible. You have to do better every day, and you have to be positive every single day.
And I love that you said that, because once again, you are continuing to just pop out more and more little nuggets, little golden nuggets that this has nothing to do with being a VA or not a VA. You're talking about always being positive and coming in positive. When you and I work together, there is no such thing as negative. And that doesn't mean that mistakes weren't made.
Yeah.
but we're solution oriented, correct?
Yes, that's very important that you cannot dwell too much on the issue.
Yeah.
You have to execute the solution.
Amen. Amen. Preach, girl, preach. So the other thing that I will say that you just said, because you said a lot of things, I can point out about 5 or 6 of them that I think are great, but I liked the word that you used was collaborate. And I will say that's another area where I just grew a lot of love and respect for you is I might build a tool or change something or whatever, or I started developing this whiteboard and all this other kind of virtual whiteboards. And I always felt really good about just throwing them at you and saying, Rain, why don't you look at this? I want your perspective on it. What would you change, or what would you want to see happen here? What would, because you're going to have to live in this world too. And that was something that we really had because you're real talent and we really trust you and we had a great working relationship. I wanted you to verify a lot of things that I was coming up with or a lot of things that I was doing, because you would have to work in that world that I was creating. Yeah. And that's collaboration. And if you had suggestions that you think something needed to change, did you feel that your opinions were being respected?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you develop tools for us too, because you're real talent, because you're awesome. You're flipping awesome. All right. Yeah, I can go on and on. You know, I mean, I love you and enjoy you, and I could talk all night with you because I miss you. But I miss you a ton. So anyways, there's so many other things I want to go to, but I want to keep this probably not much longer. Is there anything else that you want to say? Otherwise, I'm trying not to dig into any of these questions. And by the way, for those who haven't seen it, I gave her a list of 2 pages of questions, about 20 questions, whatever it is. We really haven't gotten to any of them.
Well, okay. The only thing before we end this interview or this video, the only thing that I could say to everyone who's gonna watch this or who's watching this is that I'm not being so cliche or too much dramatic, but working with David had been a great. I mean, it's an honor working with him because it's not every day that you will find someone or you will find a boss who will always be there with you. I mean, who will support you. Let's say if you make a mistake and everything in what you do in your task. I mean, he's always positive. Yes, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I makes mistakes. But one thing I could really honestly say to David is that he's awesome. He's very supportive. He's very thorough when he was training me, when he was conducting an interview. He's open for suggestions and he never failed to answer my questions, even though sometimes, should I ask him this? But I never felt that I was just a VA for him. Rather, I was part of a team. David was really hands-on to me, but not to the point that he was micromanaging me. He just wanted to make sure that I can do my job with flying colors, and I could really say that he never doubted me, and he let me do my job without any hesitations at all. So I guess it's like what David said. It's all about the collaboration of a virtual assistant and your client or the boss. So those things, those are the very important things. So before you hire someone, before you interview someone, or if one of the VAs will watch this, you have to make sure that you know what you're gonna do with this, because this is a serious job. The people will hire you. This not a joke. They're spending money, hours or time, so don't waste it for those virtual assistants. And for our clients and for our bosses, thank you for hiring us and for trusting us, even though we are from another part of the world. So there, thank you.
I love you, my friend. Love you, love you, love you. It's that was hard to listen to, that last couple minutes. When we found out that we wouldn't be working together anymore, is I don't think that that we shed tears for no reason. I mean, and these are real relationships and real talented people that we're working with, and we have a lot of love and a lot of mutual respect for each other. And so I just really want to thank you. And we'll be in touch real soon, but I'll go ahead and end this video. Thanks for making me cry. That's really great. But tons of love, and thank you, Rain, and I hope everybody else enjoyed it. If I were you, I would watch this and don't think about this as just, this is a great video for VAs. This is a great video for you making a hire anywhere. I don't care. You shouldn't see the difference, in my opinion. So, all right. See you later, my friend. Talk to you later.
Bye.